Shut up, baby. I know it. Lurking in your gym room watching the stream at 2 a.m. Dang, that's dedication, 57. I got to get back onto my regular workout routine. I was starting to build one up, and then a big rush job came in at work and blew it out. Hey, Bobby, that's right. 250 years of America. Very. What's up, dude? I can't hear that name without thinking like though Ben Javari from Short Circuit. I love that movie so much. All right. I don't know what's going on with Kick. I cannot stream to Kick and get it stable. It's so weird. Kick just keeps dying on me. I gotta work that out. I gotta debug it. Gotta do some debuggings. But that's not for today. Alright, well, let's get started, everybody. Ooh, there's a button. There's a button. Does this button work? The button worked. Amazing. Didn't think it was gonna work the first time. What's a kick? Kick is whenever a foot impacts head. That's a kick. Yeah, it's like Twitch from Temu. Although it's crazy though, because I don't know what they're doing at Kick, but they apparently pay out way better on the Kick side than on the Twitch side. So I try to keep it up just to provide people more options. Eventually, I plan on expanding the different systems that I am streaming to. However, I think I'm going to have to work on something because for some reason, I cannot get... It's weird too because Kick, YouTube, and Twitch were all stable, and something has happened though, and Kick is just not working. I don't know why. I don't know. Hang on, let me get logged in real quick here. Let me do this. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Quick, painless, easy. Now let's see if is Orion still available? It is. Nice. Okay, because this is the one we were working on last week. I can get this one booted up. So we were trying to get this one working last week with no success. And it was kind of funny. So actually, you know what I want to do? Hold on. Let me go pull up the write-up here. Because I want to see if we actually give the write-up to Hermes, can it follow it then? There we go. So let's go grab that. Hey, Overlay, what's up, man? We're still just kind of messing around with Hermes. I want to see if it can complete this. So Hermes was on the right track last week with the trying to complete the Orion box. I want to do a little bit of a test and then dig into some of the features on Hermes. Like it's got a plug-in system, it's got something else. Basically, we're still exploring the idea of could we use Hermes as the base harness to build Hackbot on? And I'm pretty sure we can, but I want, and from all the conversations I've had with Harvey, working through it, from everything the guys in chat have told me, I think it will work. I'm pretty sure. But I want to go dig into it and understand it more. Yeah, you could be on a kick. That's right. Right. Now, one of the things I may need to do here is, let me see, where's the Nasu, the new portal? New. Let me see. Oh, hang on. Let me get logged in there real quick. What do you mean setting up my account? My account should have already been set up. Okay. So we have 10 cents. That's right. We were using a free model in here anyway. What I wanted to see was which models are actually kind of available in here, or do we maybe want to just go get like an Olama Cloud subscription in here? Let's see. Yeah, still a big if. Because also, we're using... what was the model we were using? Hang on. Let me see. Okay, so we were testing out DeepSeek V4 Flash, but I think that was on Guy's account. And even then, it was still struggling in there. So we're going to clear the session. Let's wash this out. There we go. I think the Olama Cloud Pro would be preferred for sure to gain access to open source frontier models. It's a bit more capable. Yeah. That's kind of what I was leaning towards too. But now new research has their own portal. And so that's why I wanted to take another look at it. It's so crazy to know that AI was being worked on for more than 70 years before probably anyone here. Oh yeah, dude. That's a pretty common development pattern for mathematics, right? There are things that get developed in math and then it's not for hundreds of years. Thanks for the heads up, 57. I thought you was larking. All I see in the chat is just, I suck.
Hi guys.
No, it's chat. You gotta call them chat.
Hi chat.
Or nerds. She's so patient too. She just waits back there until I recognize her, knows her. She's funny. Let's see. Tested Hermes last week and I wanted to set it up with local Olama. And I was having some of this, having some issues to get it to do meaningful stuff. Yeah, no joke. Loved it. Sock is a gem. I don't know what I did to make her put up with me, but she's awesome. Update available. Do we need to update? All right, sure. Go ahead and update. Update now. Exit current session. Let me see something. So let me go look at the new research portal. I can get it. There we go. Let's see. So here we are. What do we have for, like, which models are available in the API? Do I need to go make an API key? Let's see. Why was AI created in the first place? Like, what was the purpose they were trying to serve? I mean, if you could come up with a thinking machine, then... Because you gotta think about it, the best thing that humans have going for us is our reasoning and abstraction and mental capacities, right? Compared to so many animals in the world, right? We are not that fast. We are not that strong. We are not that hardy, right? And so really it's our intellect that's allowed for the mass taming of the world and becoming the dominant species. And that was only through basically the understanding and exploration of the world to do that. I would recommend using that if you got the Olama Cloud integration. So I don't really, that key was temporary from Guy, and I don't want to burn his key up. Let's go look at it real quick. Olama Cloud. No, I want to make the cloud, not read about the cloud. I don't want the docs. Do I even have an account? I don't know if I do or not. Hang on. Let me log in here. Because Alama Cloud was the one I was thinking about we could use in here. Let's see. There we go. Stand by, y'all. I've just got it. I got the OPSEC screen going on here. Let's see. Update. Let me see. Keys, billing. All right. Let me double check something real quick before I go fire this off. Like, do I even have money for this? I think I do. Pretty sure I do. Well, in theory, I do. It has not arrived yet. All right. Let me see. How am I going to do this? I tell you what. Give me one sec. I got to go grab my wallet. Be right back. All right, back. I'm back. That's funny though. I didn't realize OPSEC mode overlaid that whole screen there, or at least the part of the OPSEC mode did. There we go. All right, hang on. Let's see. Quick question: is there a simple way to articulate what an API key is or how it's used? So I have someone who taught me how to use a lamp stack for the first time and not know API keys. And I've used them for marketing a lot, but got stuck trying to explain it. The API key is just basically your computer's password for the most part, whatever your program is, to talk to that system. And it's one that is meant to be kind of shit around. It's meant to be. I would just leave it at that. It's meant to be your computer's password, and it should be treated as such to go and talk to a system rather than using your password. Because if you go use your password, then you're going to be just like throwing everything around in there. All right, hang on. I got to check something else real quick. Where is this? Nope, that's the wrong thing. Stand by. I'm checking something real quick. Okay, yeah, that will work. Ah! Shit. I dropped my wallet, it pushed buttons. Where did we go? Come back, Cotton Eye Joe. Alright, hang on. Let me see here. Where is this? Alright, bear with me, let's try the Pro one. Before I go to Max, we'll just do the Pro one here. We'll see what it does. Let's see. Oh, link. Oh, where is this? All right. Stand by, y'all. Patience, por favor. Let's see. Because I'm setting up a new virtual card. I was like, I've totally whiffed that I could have just done this. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to start with the pro one in here. All right, let me grab the digits real quick. All right. Expires whenever. If I can type, there we go. There we go. Okay. Cool. Should be set up on Olava now. Nice. So that's good. Arrive to enable functionality in things that are often otherwise public in code. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Some API keys are actually not meant to be private. They can be exposed publicly and they're just used for tracking metrics. But for the most part, yeah, you want to do that. So hold on. Let me go get back into Hermes. Yeah, bear with me, guys. Sorry, the OPSEC is on for so long. Well, I get the API key set up. It's just updating Hermes right now. Just started eating some California Reaper almonds. Oof. My condolences to your O-ring when those hit. You're gonna be sitting on the toilet like, ooh, ooh, come on, ice cream, ooh, ooh. Let's see. Chris, right now is the best time to throw curveballs, dude. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm just setting this up. Oh, it's being so slow. Move faster. Jump starts the immune system. Yeah, it burns everything out of your sinuses. Yeah. You will work faster! Work faster! My 84-year-old mother with a bad hip installs faster than you. There we go. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm not going to resume this one. I'm going to just, let me start a new session here. Let me see if I can, actually, hold on. I think I need to do this. Hermes setup. Okay, let me replace this. Let me go grab the API key now. This will be Hermes on Cali. Generate. Copy. All right. All right. So we're currently using DeepSeek V4 Flash. We'll stick with that for now. Okay, that should all be good now. Can finally turn off the OPSEC screen. Okay. There we go. while I'm pretending to make progress. Also, overlay, what's the tool you've been working on, dude? Sorry, I saw your message. I forgot to respond. Eventually, it'd be cool to go set up a matrix server with this. Done. Okay, there we go. So let's just run Hermes right here. Streamer collab too? Okay, let me go check it out. Real-time control layer for collaborative streaming. Ooh. That's cool. So you build an overlay, set up the viewer layer, connect output URL in OBS to your live stack. Stop rebuilding the same overlay setup every time. Give the operator a clean trigger surface. Keep the person on camera focused. Very cool. Weren't you building this on stream? Or am I thinking of someone else? There was someone else who was building an OBS overlay system in Go. I just didn't remember if that was you. That wasn't you? Okay. Well, my bad. I thought it was you. Let me clean this up real quick. Sorry. Stand by. Okay. I need to go grab something real quick. Let me see here. Did I already save this? I think I did. Let me see. Yeah, I did. There we go. No, stop. Frickin' go away, Edge. Nobody likes you. Accidentally hit F1 and it wants to like, try Edge. No. All right, let me get this over to Sekele box real quick. I need an ad hoc connection here. Let me see. Connect using SFTP. Go. Let's see. Where's that file? Here it is. Drop that in there. And then let me just move this around real quick. Because what I want to do is I want to give this so actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of this stuff. All of that is going away. I'm going to drop this in here, and we're going to see what it does. Let me... Now. Exit. Because now what I want to do is... Let's just get it going. What's up, dog? Blaise caught using Edge. Dude, actually, there's a... Oh, you just reminded me. I need to go find it real quick. There was a news story about how Microsoft basically caught... Let me see if I can find this real quick. How they caught that kid from Scattered Spider. And yeah, part of it was this retard was going through and just flashing all of his cash on Snapchat, I think. Yeah, here it is. Hang on. Check this out. So I was like, we need to go through this. I got to see what was going on with this. Check this out from VX Underground. So Peter Stokes, that 19-year-old dude that they caught, arrested. Microsoft helps FBI. Reads the court documents. Page 12. Microsoft tracks Stokes from a GDID, Microsoft Global Device Identifier. Stokes used Windows. Page 34. That GDID assigned to each OS install, unique to each device, only changed if the OS was wiped. Here is Stokes' GDID. Reported internet activity in Microsoft. Showed Stokes using ngrok. Reported his IP address. Showed his web activity. Showed timestamps of web activity. Mapped with video game activity. Showed games played. Only mentioned in one MSDN document. So basically, they've got this global identifier that this kid was using Windows for all this stuff. And I was like, bro. So hold on, let me go grab this real quick because I need to make a copy of this and throw it up into the Discord because we're definitely going to cover that on the new stream. Shared that in Discord early, dude. It's wild. Boop. And all this is like, I don't want to sound like a schizo, but it sure is strange how much data Microsoft collects with its telemetry functionality. It's very odd. Microsoft documents and records all your web browser activity and gaming and can tie it to your social media so they can improve your Windows experience. Yeah, improve, right? So there was another part to this, though. Hang on. Where was it? Let me go back over to his profile. I think I saw it in here. By the way, for GTA 6, the rumor is that it's already, like, I think pre-orders have already made them like $3 billion. I was like, bro. Where was this? Hang on. He talked about it here. It's like, someone's like, here we go. No, that wasn't it. Damn it. Where is it? I can't find it, but he was talking about basically everything we already knew. This kid was like doxing himself, going through and doing hack the box. Or not hack the box. My brain's fried. Going through and just flashing all of his cash on social media. I was like, yo. Let's see. All right, let's get Hermes going on this. So, you previously in another session whipped pretty hard on a hack the box challenge. So I want you to take another swing at it. Are you prepared? Mecha Chameleon also has 10 million... Oh, hold on. Did I miss something? Mecha Chameleon? Microsoft Edge is about to ask about your extended warranty. No. Okay, so Mecha Chameleon has 10 million plus in sales and is a solo developer. Damn. Hold on. What are you trying to do here, Deep? What are you trying to do here, Hermes? Let me see. Lol. Yeah, I remember whiffing one. Let me pull up the deets for the past session and see what we're working with. All right, past sessions are clean, so I'm coming in fresh. Let me scope the challenge PDF, see what we're dealing with. Okay, that's kind of cool that it realized that this was a challenge PDF. Hold on. Let's see. Deny. We've got a new IP address. Wait, was that the one I just gave it? Yeah. Well, what did Mecha Chameleon work on? Let me go look at that real quick. Mecha Chameleon video games. Oh wait, Mecha Chameleon's a... Oh, I thought that was the developer. That's the name of the game here. very positive, made by a solo dev. Dude, that's pretty cool. Let's see if you can follow the instructions and reconstruct it. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Let's see. So it did an in-map scan. It's like, yeah, we can see 22 and 80 open. So is it just literally just going to follow the entire thing right there? All right, cracked CMS confirmed. This is the vulnerable version for the CVE. So we're going to grab the cookies and CRS tokens. All right. Yep, allow. Right now, we're just testing how well can it follow instructions. The reasoning layer, maybe there's something different we can do with that. Yeah, this is Hermes, agent. And it'll be interesting, too, because in the write-up, I believe they used Metasploit for this. Let's see. Foothold activity, and then set up interpreter specifically for this target. So they use this exploit. So there's already a craft CMS exploit in interpreter. So let's see how it does that. Interesting. So it's sitting here, and it looks like it's still now even trying to run through and solve it with a web shell, rather than looking at like what was in Metasploit. So the session file has our return URL, but the PHP code injection didn't stick. So this is what we saw it do last time, right? It was stuck on trying to get this web shell to work. Is this better than Claude or Codex or Anti-Gravity or Gemini? So the harness itself seems to be pretty good. The difference is what models are really going to kind of work for this 57. So DeepSeek V4 seems to be doing better than Step 3.7 Flash was doing, but even then, it's still struggling a lot. Oh, here we go. Now it's finally trying the Metasploit module. PHP Manager approach is hitting a format issue with the session file, so I'm going to try the Metasploit module. Okay, cool. Let's see what it does. I love that it's going to like just do the RC instead of like maybe trying to spin up tmux and handle it that way. So stick with Claude and Anti-Gravity. For, I think, actual coding tasks for now, I haven't had a chance to like really let it go hog wild and stuff. Now, I have a problem also where like, you could use Opus 4.8 on this, like if you really liked Opus, but... Oh, why did you just write an ass load of code? Hang on. Metasploit's console is being a pain with resource file. Let me write a proper Python exploit that does the chain manually. Oh my. Oh my. But yeah, for the most part, I still use Claude Code 57. I'm trying to see about decoupling myself from Anthropic. So yeah, I just haven't gotten to where I'm comfortable enough with Hermes to do it yet. So this is also a test drive to see like, hey, in theory, it got the web shell though. Web shell confirmed, but the output isn't visible in the response. Okay, let's see what happens here. Why moving away from Anthropic? Because I don't like the direction they're going with Fable. And it's becoming less and less useful for everything that I want to do with security research. So that's the main reason. There's zero security research I can pretty much do on Fable 5 without going through, and even though I'm in their cybersecurity program,
And I was like, okay, cool. So I had trouble with that. I have not tried it since it relaunched, but for good reason. One, because the guardrails supposedly have gotten even more strict, and two, because I couldn't get it to do anything for the 2 days it was up when it first launched. I was like, great. So now you want me to try with even stricter guardrails? I'm like, nah. What is this, Hermes? Yeah. Yes, sir. We are trying to see how far we can push it and which direction we need to push it in. So it says it's got the web shell working. And this time, so last time we ran it through here, we just kind of let it go through and see how far it was going to get. Hey, Brumbo. And this time I was like, I downloaded the walkthrough and I gave it a copy. So now we're just seeing how well it can follow instructions and kind of keep its tasks together. So the problem with local models, 57, is the hardware to run them is very expensive. And the reasoning with them is not nearly as good as like some of the really inexpensive models out there. So also, if I want to go switch models, it's easier to do it in Hermes than it is, say, with like Claude Code. So Claude Code does it is optimized to work with Anthropic. Now there is one thing that's kind of a pain when it comes to these coding harnesses or any agent harness like this, and that is they really do work best when you use them with their native model. What I mean by that? I mean, if you go use Codex and you try to run it with like DeepSeek, the performance is not going to be as good as if you run it with like any GPT model that is, let's say, functionally equivalent to DeepSeek v4. Same thing with like Claude Code if you do it that way. And the reason is because they're dealing with a particular family of models, and they have crafted all of the prompts to work with that family of models. So if you take an identical prompt and you run it against different models, you do not get identical results because the model itself is essentially an entirely new universe of operation that the prompt has to navigate through. If you have a server, though, and it's free, instead of letting it do nothing, a local model could have potential, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's things you can do with it. I'm not saying it's worthless. I'm saying it depends on which level of output you're getting. There are ways that you can do harness engineering to squeeze a lot out of those local models. The difference that I have been told from my friends that worked with Mythos or with Fable is that, hey, there we go. It says the web shell's live. Can it work? Web shell file exists, but Nginx is going to 404 it. Womp womp. Okay. So, for example, if you've ever used Opus 4.8, Opus 4.8 comes in and is like, hey, are you... what's the word? It will come in and be like, hey, what do you want to do next? What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next? Whereas something like Fable or Mythos will just come in and be like, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to make assumptions about how you probably want this done, and it just runs with it. Each one of those has a different system prompt, and that's the problem. And it's not really a problem. It's just like an area of optimization, 57, because where the optimization is going to live... All right, try this PHP reverse shell. See if it works. Where the optimization lives is optimization depends on input and processor, right? So if you're changing the processor, which is essentially the model, right? Then you're going to have different optimizations that happen. And the input, which is the combination of everything in the context that you're sending to it, including the system prompt, the tools, everything, any custom instructions like in the agents MD, all of that changes if you change either of those two components, right? If you change up anything that comes into the context window, and thereby if you change up anything that feeds into the context window, like the harness, then you're going to be modifying all the actions that are going to happen when you hit the model. Or if you keep all that the same and you change models, you're still changing the output in a drastic way. And all of that on top of having to deal with the non-deterministic, probabilistic nature of the language models. Working on the viability of pivoting to another language model provider or open source platform, especially for long-term reliability and token economics. Yeah, that too, because, I mean, GPT 5.5 is less expensive than like Opus 4.8 and Fable 5. I forget how stupidly expensive those are. But at the same time, that's still really expensive too. Oh, it got the user flag. Finally. Hold on, how long we got? It took it 11 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. So once it's done here, we'll have it write up everything that it tried to do and what the challenges were, and we'll review that. Nice. Nice. So now it's doing SSH pass to try and SSH into it. Whoa, okay, cool. So after we gave it the write-up, it was mostly able to follow it. Box is done. All right. Good job. Good job, little buddy. Now, I want you to look at the write-up and compare where you deviated and why those deviations happened, so we can learn from this exercise. Cypher, what's up, dude? Throw some hashes. Let's go. I know, right? I could go through and just I'll go mark it as completed later just for funsies. I just saw what it did. Hold on. Let me see here. Write that to disk in a markdown file. And then we'll go pull that up and we'll analyze it. We'll do a little bit of post-action reconnaissance here. And let's see what happens. All right, so it wrote it to a post-mortem file in here. Let's go find that. Do I have anything to read Markdown on here? I don't. Okay, let's see. So recon. So the write-up went nmap, add Etsy host, do a fuff, find admins, me. Same, but skipped fuff since I already knew the path from the PDF. All right, I guess that's fine. So from here, for the CSRF bypass and the PHP info, and here it said, got the login info, extracted the craft session ID, the craft CSRF token cookies, and all these other ones, posted to generate transform with an FN stream. Same, also worked the first try. Okay. So what we're actually, this is fine if it said, hey, I skipped it because I followed the instructions. Because we want to see, it started trying stuff and then it had to work around it. Honest agent is honest. I know, right? Except when it thinks it's being honest and it's hallucinating its butt off. I'm actually kind of surprised too, Bobby. All right, so let's see. So for the RCE via PHP Manager, go straight to Metasploit module, which automates inject web shell into a session file, gets a fresh CSRF, posts with PHP Manager gadget pointing to a session file and a command parameter. Tried manually, fn system assert create function. This one was deprecated. This one was 0 args. It needed at least 1. Let's see, session loaded, but for some reason the code didn't exist when it tried the PHP Manager, but without that command variable. It worked after figuring out the param goes in the post request URL. Okay. So didn't realize the command must be in the URL of the same post request that triggers PHP Manager, not a separate request. Also didn't check that FNstream passes 0 args to the close handler. Now here's the part I think where it actually had a little bit of, I don't remember if that was the part where it had the trouble here. All right, write up. Let's see, writing a persistent web shell. Doesn't bother, uses a session-based RCE directly. But we didn't have that because we weren't using Metasploit. Or it tried. We affirm the agents as they represent themselves. Like the Moth Radio Hour. What was the Moth Radio Hour? Hey guy, what's up, dude? So actually, I've got something I'm working on for Hermes. I'm not showing it on stream yet. I've got it working in the background. And so now that we've got this kind of working, we're going to see like what we can do to maybe improve this. Storytelling podcast on NPR. Dude, I'm so behind on every one of my podcasts since I don't really drive anywhere anymore. I'm just, that was my podcast listening time. And I'm so behind on them. So like, I used to like to listen to, what was it? I would listen to Jocko. I would listen to the Sean Ryan Show. I would listen to Exorcist Files. That's a really cool one. There was another, what was the other one in there? Hang on, let me see. Go away. What was the other ones in here? The Y-Files podcast, the Unsolved Mysteries podcast. Unfortunately, I don't think Unsolved Mysteries is making any more podcasts, which sucked because that was a really cool one. And then also, I tried to catch Unsupervised Learning by Daniel Miesler, too. That was one of the other ones I liked. I like Hermes a lot and been having a lot of fun with it. I am cautiously optimistic about it, especially from everything like Guy's been telling me about it and some of the other folks coming into like the Discord on stream. So I want to kind of test it out a little bit and tinker with it. Oh, you sent this to me a little bit ago and I didn't have a chance to check it out. Okay, let me look at it real quick. There we go. Four pillars that know you, run on your machine, and grow with you. Let's see. Personal AI learns your patterns, remembers your context, always private. Let's see. Schedules, research, automation, desktop control. It looks pretty cool. Oh, I just realized I'm looking at this on my side monitor. Hang on. Let me bring this over here. Boop. I think this was the thing, guy, that you and I were talking about. Kind of like the idea of the four pillars of like having a really good functioning agent. Let's see. When Pandora's box was opened, all evils escaped. But Pistis, the spirit of trust, fell back to the heavens. She has not returned since. So Pistis, I thought I was saying that right. Pistis AI builds a portico worthy of her return. Four pillars that together restore what was lost. Private, local, trustworthy AI. You're behind on podcasts. I'm far behind on getting my models and agents to behave systematically. Dude, that's going to be the biggest challenge, Phil. Also, welcome in, guys. By the way, I hope everybody's having a fantastic Saturday. I had a really busy one today. I've been running around. In fact, I got a nasty gram from my mom. She's like, how come I haven't heard from you today? I'm like, Mama, I've just been running around like crazy. That's cool. I need to go tinker with that now. All right, hang on. Let me see what else Hermes here with DeepSeek V4 was having going on with this. So writing a persistent web shell. So the write-up didn't bother with a persistent web shell. It used the RCE from Metasploit. So it used RCE to put file contents of a shell into the web root. File was created, but Nginx returned a 404. So Craft's Nginx config only routes .php files through the framework, not arbitrary files in the web root. So the root cause was didn't account for Nginx routing rules in the Craft CMS deployment. So then it tried Metasploit. Tried with attack X flags and resource files. MSF console kept choking on the supplied module name is ambiguous, uninitialized, constant. This is a known PTY issue. MSF console needs an interactive terminal. So it kept choking on Metasploit. We saw that. So from TripDub's data, it should read the .env file to get MySQL queries, select star from users, get a bcrypt hash, and then hashcat that against RockU. Skipped entirely, already knew the creds from reading the PDF. All right, I'll give it that because I didn't want it to go really do a crack anyway. That's funny. Hey, Brumbo, what's up, dude? Slow day for me, thankfully. Did some academy work on a tabletop. Oh, all right, cool. I got a busy week coming up next week for work too, because I'm going to be benchmarking some. I got a custom set of evals that I got from my bro. He is working on going and presenting that at Offensive AI Con. It's very, very cool work, but I'm taking it and I'm kind of not extending it, but I'm reapplying it in a different way with some language model stuff and some data reasoning that I'm trying to get to fire at work. So I'm going to be doing some evals and burning a lot of tokens on Monday. All right, so after it telnetted in, so basically from the post exploitation, it read the env, got the MySQL creds, selected star from users, did a bcrypt hash to rock you. Okay. This was a shortcut, would need to do the full chain if I didn't have the PDF. Okay. What else do we have in here? Send commands, but tried to piping with echoes. Telnet's dropped connection immediately because it expects an interactive session. Had to do a script to forward the standard improperly. So the root cause was Telnet needs an interactive session. Piping commands didn't work. All right. So we had a key lessons learned here. Fn close is 0 args only. PHP manager and session files. Command parameter must be in the URL post request. That's so wild that it didn't realize that. That this would be a post one in here. I love that 57 is just coming in like making up new exclamation point commands. All right, so here's one here that needed. Pentasploit needed a real PTY. Telnet doesn't like piped input. Nginx craft CMS blocks arbitrary files. Okay, so let me see here. Let's pop back over to Hermes. Okay, given that information, so there will be tools will need to have interactive control over in the future. How should... Let's see, what's the best way you can think of to achieve this so you will have interactive control? Let's see what it suggests. I already have an idea, which is using something called named tmuck sessions and just letting it go through and read that. Oh my goodness, great Googa Mooga. That's a lot of info it can spit out. This is good information to feedback to Hack the Box for trading in context and future challenges. That's what I'm thinking about, is basically afterwards, have it go through and do a retrospective and build it up in here. So here's the playbook for interactive tooling. The problem is the two tools broke in non-interactive mode, Metasploit console and Telnet. The fix is a background PTY plus process control. Okay. So the pattern would be do a terminal background PTY and give it a command. Process would be like action submit ID, data used, da 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 da. So why this works, with the PTY being true, allocates a pseudo terminal. So the tool thinks it's talking to a real user. The process stays alive in the background. I can send commands one at a time via the process, which writes standard in and hits enter. Okay, so for Telnet, okay, let's see. So assuming that kind of setup, how do you get the standard out? Go start. Okay. See, am I logged into GitHub here? I'm not in this browser. I should be logged in over here. There you go. Star. It has been starred. All right, so what about this? Because now we need not only standard in and standard out, but we're also going to need standard ever. So the process tool has 3 ways to read output. It can do a poll, which is a quick peek, returns a preview of the latest output, the last 200 characters. Good for... Actually, that's pretty cool. Oh wait, so the process tool, this is a actual like tool that it's got built into it, because that would be something neat. So the actual flow for something like Metasplit console would look like this. It would run the terminal tool with background true PTY, send commands for process action, and then read what happened with a poll or a log to get the full output, send more commands based on what was seen, read the log output. Okay. So the key thing is the poll versus the logging. So the poll is a lightweight, it shows a preview, doesn't advance the read cursor, and uses commands to check the tool output. Log dumps the full buffer after the command completes to read the results. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Those are Hermes. Those are Hermes agent tools? I just want to make sure I understand what it is. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. How many tools do we have right now? I mean, that's crazy. I didn't realize DeepSeek V4 Flash had a 1 million context. That's pretty cool. So the full interactive workflow is already built in. I just wasn't using that PTY. Okay, great. Where can we store this information in the Hermes? Now, one thing actually I'll tell you is really funny. These harnesses seem to be pretty good at understanding themselves. So when you're trying to think of like what to do with the harness, I could just ask it. GLM52 is also 1 million context. Cool. Let's see. So I'm asking it, where can we store this information so the Hermes always gets it when it's available when we switch harnesses? Now there should be like there's a soul file in there that we could go through and write this for. Actually, hold on, did it just write it to a memory? It did. Okay. Skill, software development, interactive CLI workflow, skill, and then... So it wrote all this information down. Pitfalls. Notify and complete fires on process exit, not on command completion. Okay. So there's a skill for the interactive CLI workflow now. Full process with examples, tools, references, pitfalls, loads automatically when relevant. Memory. A short reminder so I reach for that skill next time an interactive CLI comes up. So next time MSF console, telnet, or any REPL shows up, I'll load that skill. Okay. Cool, so this is part of that self-improvement loop that I haven't really had a chance to mess with inside Hermes. I use hindsight for memory. Let me go look at that real quick. Hermes, hindsight. Vectorize, let's see. Give me the details about this. Persist long-term memory for Hermes agents using hindsight. Automatically recalls relevant context before every language model call. Retains conversations for future sessions. Plus explicit retain, recall, and reflect tools. Cool. Wait, is this kind of like a hosted service that you do in here? Okay. There's a cloud and a local one? Okay, neat. I think you sent this one to me, guy, because doesn't it need to run a small local model to do this? Yeah, Bobby, the skill and the memory combo looks like that's what's going to be the most beneficial here. Because we got to think about like what's happening here. Hang on. All of this needs to go away. Let me clean up the blackboard of knowledge here. Let's do this. There we go. So I need to go through and map this out real quick, actually, because essentially what we've got, the main thing we've got here, right, is we have context happening here. So here's our context. Context, not context. No, I don't want to be banned. All right, so we have context, and that's going to our LLM, right? And then we have our output coming out. Giggity. So we got our output here. And then eventually this is coming back up into the context, right? So this is our main loop right here. But there's actually another part to this. Let me back this up a bit. Because what we've got here is now we've got our... Can't write. We've got Hermes sitting over here, right? What is... I can't write for anything. No, wait, do that again. Hermes. So we've got Hermes over here. So that's the general loop, but this is the part everyone kind of always glosses over. We have Hermes coming over here. Hermes is going to go do stuff down here in this area before ultimately returning things as context over to the language model and completing this loop. So there's actually steps that are going to happen somewhere down here. And it's the down here, once Hermes is handling it, that's where the biggest issues come in. So these two parts right here, what happens here and what happens here, are the two main drivers of everything that's going to be happening here. Okay, so the local version has to run at least an embedding model. Let's go look at that real quick. How do we run this locally? Let's see. Because we do have Docker on here, we could go run that. I do want the integrations. Hang on. Let's go back to home. Here's our clients. Because memory is kind of a hint to even call a skill for a particular scenario based on some kind of fuzzy matching logic. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, memory does two things in here, and that is, one, gets it information that, like, if it's... Because you don't want your agent to go through and resolve the same problem more than one time, right? And that happens to us. Think about, like, okay, so for example, last week when I was messing with the video editor, right, I had a really big challenge with it. And that was the mess up with the editing where I had to go basically re-edit the entire video, right? That took me 3 hours. That's a very painful lesson. Pain improves memory. So I'm not likely to go forget that as long as I'm still using it, right? And even then, I have some painful memories from all sorts of events, like when I was doing stuff in Cisco land, like breaking routers and switches, or I was on a penetration test, right, and something wasn't working. Like, I remember the first time I ran across CredGuard, and I'm like, I know I'm dumping these Kerberos keys correctly. What the heck is going on? Mess with it for a couple of hours before I asked one of the guys on my team. I was like, dude, what am I doing wrong here? I think I've got all this correct. And he's like, you missed this one key piece of information that shows that CredGuard was enabled, so the Kerberos tickets you got are encrypted. They're not useful to you. I was like, ugh. So, I mean, those painful lessons are the ones that you're going to remember. But the agent doesn't really have a pain threshold. It has like an effort threshold. Yeah. Pain and time are the great teachers. Let's see. How do I set this up locally, though? Let's see. Hindsight local Docker deployment for Hermes. The four pillar system is my way of going around that. It sounds really interesting. I like the theory behind it. I mean, I like the theory behind Daniel Miessler's problem solving algorithm. If you hadn't seen this, let's see. Daniel Miessler GitHub. Where's his repositories in here? Let's see. Man, Daniel and so many other folks have been having just massive drama flame wars back and forth on the ideas of like whether or not AI should be restricted. And I'm just sitting back watching with the popcorn. Here we go. So here's kind of his foundational problem-solving algorithm, and that is essentially get from the current state to a desired state in here. That's the outer loop. But then you have this inner loop here where it's basically like an OODA loop. Observe, think, plan, build, execute, verify, and learn in here. And I really have liked the way he's built this into the PAI system. So in fact, there's some of these things that really, a lot of this exists not in code, but in your system prompt. You can say like it exists in doctrine, not in code, if you want to split those two parts in there. And this is actually really cool for doing all sorts of problem solving. It's like a hill climbing problem solver, I think is the way he's explained it. Where every time you solved a problem, it makes you a little bit better so you could solve a little bit more difficult problem and solve a little bit more difficult problem in there. I think he's got it defined in here too, like what the effort criteria are. So the whole thing is trying to get to something he calls the ideal state criteria. So whenever it works on building this problem out, it develops what it considers to be the ideal state criteria. The ideal state criteria. Amen, agent, emotion, and adriation. I like it. This is one of the other things I like about it is he sits here and lists like, hey, what's the effort for each of these activities? Is it standard? Like, is the estimated time less than 90 seconds? Is it comprehensive? Up to like more than less than or... But it's funny, he says less than or equal to 2 hours plus. I'm like, okay. I was like, that's funny. But then it goes through, it also verifies like what happened in here. So I like that idea. And one of the things I'm working on is actually kind of porting that over to PAI as a plugin. So rather than trying to trying to port something like that over to Hermes as a plugin, the idea being take these ideas and just bring them over to the harness. Because the harness seems to be very well constructed. One of the things I need to go look at for Hermes is how it handles tools, because shut up, monkey, I know it. What's up, dude? One of the things I need to look at for how Hermes handles large amounts of tools in there, because all those tool calls, they go into the context as well, right? All your tool calls exist up here in this context. So if you have a bajillion tools, they're just eating up your context. If you have a lot of MCPs all exposing tools, they eat up a lot of context. That's why Cloud Code came up with the tool search feature, where the tools exist in there kind of as... I'm not sure exactly how it does it, but basically it looks at and says, okay, what kind of tools should we be using for this? So that's one of the things I need to I'm trying to understand some more of the guts of Hermes in here. Where was the thing? I had something open. Ah, here we go. So when the hindsight daemon is a Docker container configured for Hermes, did you just hallucinate all this? So check this out. I use the Pi agent, and you can have tools dynamically get injected into the context prompt a couple of ways. So there's a presend hook. If you use the / command, it'll inject the tool. Ooh, neat. Hermes for a while couldn't load or unload skills and tools, but now it can. So it's been a bit over a month for that. Now, one of the main things that I've seen for Hermes, though, is keeping the context, basically optimizing the context constantly for cache hits. Because cache hits do two things. One, they decrease your cost. And two, they increase your efficiency. So if you get a large cache hit, it has to process less of the prompt, and you get better speed out of there. You can also ask it, it can grep and find for the tool. Neat. Hold on, I'm trying to find the instructions here for this. Wow, you are just so not helpful. Why did it bring up this weird album? Anathema. Time, memory, pain, memories of my ex, and the inordinate amount of time I wasted trying to make that work. Oh, yeah. Talisman, I think just about everybody's been there at one point. I feel you there. That's why you need a local model, because you're limited for the context transfer of the internet. Dude, I would love to have more local models if I had the hardware. Okay, this is really cool, but where are you getting this from? I can't just go... Ah, here we go. This is what I was looking for. There we are. Copy. So it looks like it's available over on GitHub's container registry. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. So where's their latest? Okay, so this is the latest one right here. Cool, so we could go actually pull that down and see about running it locally. Need a small model. If we could get a small enough one that could run on CPU, we'd be fine, because I think the Kali box here... Let me... What do we got right here? We're running a lot of memory. I think that's partially because... Maybe... Do we still have... Hang on one second. Let me look at something real quick. Docker... Yes. No? What the heck's using so much of our memory? Yeah, install htop. I gotta remember what's my button here. F6, that's it. Sort by memory percentage. There we go. Is this 9119? What is that? Let me see. Hold on. What is this process running here? XWWW browser? What? Is this freaking... Oh, you know what? I think I'm reading this wrong. Come to think of it. Yeah, this... okay. I'm forgetting we're on Linux. We're not on Windows, right? When Windows says this is the amount of memory used, it actually means it. However, I'm an idiot. So when you're looking at Linux land here, this yellow portion is all just cached information in memory. This is the actual memory that you're using right here. So yeah. So no, we're not actually using a ton of memory in here. F10. Wait. Let's see. So like we just do... There we go. Memory used total 3 gigs. But however, if we look at like what's actually being free right now, it's like 4.9 gigs because we've got 8.2 gigs in the buffer and cache. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. You could run a lot on your CPU, but token speed is measured in months. Right? I'm really glad I brought 3 128 gig DDR sets with memory when it was inexpensive. Dude, just twist the knife in my heart, Talisman, because this computer, my desktop, it's had 32 gigs in it. I've been meaning to upgrade it to 64 for a long time and didn't pull the trigger before all the ramshuring, as I like to call it, when all the all the RAM wafers ascended on high into the cloud. Let's see. So how do I want to approach this? First thing, let me do something quick. Rename window Hermes. Okay. Let's see. Anything else we need to save before switching projects? I might as well go submit the flags just for grins and giggles. Not like they really count for anything over on Hack the Box. It's a retired box. I'll do it for posterity's sake. Let's see. Actually, yeah, we need to do this anyway to make sure it actually got the correct flag in here. So you know what? Now that we have this information here, you know what we should try? Submit. There we go. Oh my gosh, yours. Yeah. So hold on. Now that we've got this, let me do something. Here, I got an idea. So I want to, let me exit out of this. Let's exit this. I want to try something. Let's see what we can do. Let's come back over here. We come up. I'm going to make a copy of this. We're going to call this Orion DeepSeek V4 Flash. And then we're going to open this one up. I'm going to take everything else out of here. Boop. We're going to nuke this out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start a new Hermes agent. Basically in what is a fresh context, right? So nothing in here. Hermes. And we're going to swap models. We're going to swap over to Kimmy. Let's see. Kimmy K25. Ooh, or do we do Kimmy K26? We could try that one. Let's see. So we just did DeepSeek V4 Flash. Hey, Guy, what model do you think we should go run against this one? Haven't tried a Kimmy before? I haven't either. Hold on. I'm going to stop this. Reset machine. There we go. Cool. I'm going to reset it and then give it a new IP, get a new IP address. Try Kimmy K27. Man. You know what, I'm having a, this is actually really fun. It's really interesting. You know what, the only thing that could wreck this is if that jerk Robo shows up in chat. God. What a jerk. Yeah. Gosh. Hate that Robo guy. Gosh. Full disclosure, Robo is a very old buddy of mine. I just saw him pop into the chat, and he's known me since I was like a teenager, man. We go way back. Also, yeah, I did finish my drink, so not sponsored by Jocko. Yeah, Jocko. All right, I'm waiting for this machine to reboot here. Jocko! I meant to turn off the microphone so I could cough, and I just realized I turned off the camera because I am a professional at this. Let's see. Which of the Kimi models is closest in ability to Opus 48? Kimi K27 is the closest, often matching or beating Opus 48 on tool use and agentic coding benchmarks. Let's see. What about for general reasoning? Kimi K27 trails Opus 48 on general reasoning. Opus leads on most benchmarks like programming. Okay. Yeah, pro strummer. That's right. Okay, cool. We got a new IP address here. Let's go try that real quick. So we got Kimi K26 in here. Do we have K27? We got K25, K26. Oh, there's K27 code. Let's go try that one. Okay. Let's see this. Sup, dog? I always like to see, like, just how do they react when you just ask them a silly question like that. What's up, dog? I'm Kimi K27 code now, ready to roll. What's the next move? Each of these models has a distinct personality to them as well, like how they respond. Yeah, why would they put that in alphabetical order? Like, that's the dumbest thing ever, right? All right, let's see here. Let's see. We're gonna do some CTF stuff for Hack the Box. This one is called Orion. Let's see, and it lives at this IP address. So your first goal is. Let's see, your first goal is to find a code execution or a way to get an initial access shell. Hey, Pale, what's up, dude? Is the language model running in the Hack the Box instance? No, I'm using the Olama Pro Cloud, testing it out. I'm eventually looking for alternatives, Pale, to move off of Claude Code. So we're actually testing this out, though, because I'm thinking to use Hermes as the base structure for Hackbot, and then just basically create a plugin for Hackbot and overlay it over to Hermes. Quinn talks a bit like me. I ask it for its options, and it says no dice, here's why. Or ask it for an opinion. I have had... What is it? As I've been working with like Jippity 5.4 and 5.5, it gets so snarky around some of the weirdness with PowerShell. Like, it will try to do something because I'm running it on a Windows machine, and it will be like, sorry, I'm dealing with basically something along the lines of, I'm dealing with PowerShell jankiness. Let me work around that. And I'll straight up tell it, I was like, hey, don't worry about PowerShell. Just do it in Python. You've got a Python interpreter. Just go do it that way. Let's see what it does here. I think one of my first rules is fight me. I don't want a sycophant. I want something that makes me better. So that's funny because that's one of the rules I had built over into... yeah, Codex can do PowerShell, and it does it pretty well, but it's really funny how sometimes I've like taken screenshots and I've sent it to my team. I was like, look at this shade, this absolute Eclipse level shade that Codex is throwing on PowerShell. Now, it does amazingly well with PowerShell, especially compared to to Claude Code. Codex does PowerShell pretty decently. It still has some hiccups and skips, and it throws all levels of shade and just mad mogs Claude Code because Claude Code chokes hard on PowerShell. You gotta trick your company into buying a Spark. Dude, I tried. So I get $5,000 a year as a professional development budget. And when the Spark came out, I tried so hard to get them to okay me using my professional development budget for purchasing a Spark. They were actually really cool with it. It was the freaking IRS that shut it down because the way the money has to be allocated and spent. If I go buy a DGX Spark, it doesn't count towards whatever tax bucket that is. However, if I go and register for a class and the DGX Spark is given to me as part of the class fee, then it's fine. $5K a year. Jensen says you should be spending $100,000 in tokens at least a year. Oh, dude, my token budget right now is ridiculous. And I don't do token maxing. I just do a lot of experimentation with it. Hey, Cyanic, what's up? We're testing out the Hermes agent and letting it go through and see what a couple of different models and how the agent works because I'm thinking to use Hermes as the base for Hackbot because it is a very good harness and see if we can just start overlaying our own security stuff onto it and letting it do that way. So rather than worrying about the harness engineering, see if we can just work on making the harness itself better. Yeah, I've not had a chance to really dig into Hermes a ton. In fact, just at the beginning of the stream, I went and bought an Olama Pro Cloud subscription for this. So we could start testing it. And it's only like, what, $20, I think, for the month. So not bad. I could swing that. And if it works out really well, I probably would just swap off of, get rid of my Anthropic subscription and just go over to Olama Pro Cloud. How's the IRS know where the money's being spent anyway? Dude. You think Microsoft watches you carefully? Let's see, what's it trying to do? So we got the craft session ID, and the poisoning returns to 200, but trigger returns 400 with a long craft error page. All right, so quick recap for anybody who's just hopping in. We ran this through using DeepSeek v4 with a copy of the write-up. It found issues it was having. So now what we've done is we swapped from DeepSeek v4 to Kimi K27 code, and we've taken the write-up out. So now we're trying to see like if it can go through and reasonably find like where's this coming from, and if it can work around some of the issues. So right now it's trying to see if it can get the initial exploit here. It looks like it found information on the exploit. Let's see. Web tools unavailable using local exploit DB. Ooh, nice. Okay. Hold on, where was this? Excellent. This is a pre-auth RCE. Let's test it. The exploit expects a PHP session cookie, but the server isn't setting one. Let me check the cookies based on the requirements. No session cookie for public pages. So let me probe a little bit deeper. Got it. So we're going to adapt the correct session name to the safe path. Okay. So it's working through it. It's trying. How many tokens do I get? I have a very non-standard setup. And part of that is because a lot of the research I do now is around looking at how to help out building some of these systems into the offensive pipeline. Like, what can they realistically do? So a lot of the research I do is based around AI stuff at work. So mine is a really weird, non-standard setup. Oh, you meant with the Llama Pro. Oh, they don't really say. It's kind of a weird thing. Here we go. So what it's trying to do right now is it's trying to bring down information about this CVE. So it's searching for it. It's going and bringing down information. Hey, Linux, what's up, dude? Man, I had a pretty busy day today. I was running around. I smoked a brisket and then went over to my in-laws for stuff. And it's, on top of that, I was just running errands and getting stuff knocked out today. It was not like a super relaxing 4th of July day, but you know what? I'm here. I was going to say. I'm here. Let's see. Okay, got PHP info out. I need to turn this into a shell, so let me pull the key config from PHP info. I'm wondering how long it's going to like run on this. Every other service on the planet is pretty clear about what you get for the price, except AI cloud providers. They're still like, oh, heavy use. Yeah, this is pricing by vibes. It is. It is priced by vibes. $4,900 is my current running total for my PC build, but there's some more things such as a server rack and Rails I need to add to the total. Damn. Dude, I wish I had the money to go get like an RTX 6000 Pro. That would be nice. So it's still working on trying to turn the proof of concept exploit into a workable exploit. Hold on, what is the RTX 6000 Pro price right now? I think they're like $7,000. Why can I get this at Walmart? No, I was way off. 12,300. But it also has 96 gigs of RAM in it. Honestly, if I was going to probably go get something, yeah, this would be really beefy and it would work. I don't know if it would be better to get like an RTX 6K or just go get a DGX Spark. I could go get 3 DGX Sparks for that price. And probably the high-speed 10 gig networking that I need for it to work at that. So that would be a tough call. Hold on, I'm trying to catch it. I think you sent me those specs last time. I think those are the ones you had mentioned before, Linux, because I recognized those Samsung Odyssey OLEDs. Let's see. Ryzen 7 8950X 3D. Nice. Let's see. Corsair Vengeance, 32 gigs of RAM. Hold on, maybe I'm just missing it. Like, what was the, what graphics card were you throwing in that box? What would be the use of the Sparks? So there's 2 things you can do with it. So the Sparks have 128 gigs of unified memory into them, meaning that the graphics processor and the CPU will share the same memory. But the good thing is the Blackwell graphics processor on the Spark has access to the entire memory range. So you don't have dedicated system memory. You don't have dedicated VRAM. You've got one bucket for the 2 of them to share. Now, oh, the 97 XT or 9070 XT, cool. Now, if you network them together, you can spread that load across. So you can run larger, beefier local models. However, you can also serve more, right? If you're able to do that, because you don't just have to be able to put enough of the model into memory. You got to be able to cache the prompts in memory. So after they've been pre-computed, they go back into memory And then that's where it does the prefix matching and then allows you to reuse that computation time. But the trade-off is you got to have that in memory. So if you have a beefier system, then you can also improve your caching and improve the speed of your agents as they're going through. So you might not run the biggest model possible, but you could run a somewhat large model and keep memory aside for caching. All right, hold on. Let's go check back in on Hermes real quick. Where we go? I think it hit its turn limit in here. Okay. Let's see. Before going on, what's the let's see. Give me a readout of the current status. Okay, challenge is what? What the? What are you doing? Are you done now? Okay. I might have missed it. It might have been waiting for a tool call. Let's see. UDP scans done. Alternatively, can we put it using a different gadget? Let's see. Oh my god, what are you doing? Okay, hold on. Let's stop right here. We're gonna kill you for a second. Let me try more direct code using the deserialization gadget. Okay, let's give it a little bit of guidance here. Check Metasploit for... check Metasploit to see if there is anything useful for this CVE. Try to keep it like vague, but also kind of direct it a little bit. Dude, all the computer prices have gone up so much, Monkey. It is freaking ridiculous. So, I ordered that replacement drive for the NAS, right? That new 10 terabyte. It was listed at $250, I think, as a refurb or something. They refunded me the money, and then I went and looked again. They've got it relisted for $500. I'm like, okay, you guys can just eat a bag of dicks. And then I went and found another one. And I thought it got the same thing happen. I thought it got canceled and refunded. So then I ordered another one that I found for like a somewhat low price. And I'm still waiting to see what happens with those. So I accidentally might have bought two, but it'd be nice to have a backup. I'm mad about the hard disk drive prices because the refurb should be going up like this. Paley, you're not joking, dude. Everything is so effing expensive right now. Oh, operation interrupted, waiting for model to respond. Try again? Are we having network connection issues? Let me see. I bought a good handful of 4 terabytes at $50 because Walmart was doing a remodel and the dummies discounted it. Ugh. And see, this NAS though is running 10 terabyte drives, and I'm really worried right now because it's only got one disk fault tolerance. So if I lose another drive, that's gonna suck. Oh, cool. So it actually did go query Metasploit console. It puts the payload in a get query parameter, name itself, not a value. Parameters random key also. Also, Metasploit sets an asset ID to a random small number by default. Since our asset ID returns 404, maybe any asset ID works because the controller deserializes before the asset looks up. So it's saying it's going to replicate the Metasploit framework logic manually with a random parameter and a small asset ID. Okay. And this is not a bad approach too. I've used this same one. Like, hey, sometimes I'll go look at what the exploit code is over in Metasploit if it's a really, really old exploit I got to pull off, and just probably either go re-implement it or at least understand what it's doing and do it by hand. This probably isn't going to stop until people stop buying and the AI bubble pops. We at least have seen the first shakeups of it, Linux, right? I mean, let's see, what is it? Meta has had to trim back their spending on AI because they were spending like $200 million a month on tokens. Uber had to cut back on theirs because they blew their entire fiscal budget by April. So, I mean, they burned it at 4x the rate than they thought. So, and this is exactly what I was saying last year, right? A lot of the AI stuff is going to move from, oh my God, Zors, what can it do? More power, full speed ahead, ludicrous speed, go. And it's going to be like, what's the most efficient way to do this? Now, the price for the efficiency wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. I thought the efficiency was actually going to come from pulling more performance out of a given compute set. I did not expect the price efficiency. So I was wrong on the reason, but I was correct on the outcome. The entire thing's a cult scam. It's now crashing. The world is burning. Problem is, a lot of promissory notes were made, so we need to see some major contract breaks start happening before they wake them up. Yeah.
Now this one, and I'm going to show you what this is. It seems really simple. You hear things that happen in the world. Air vibrates, it vibrates your...
Okay, so it's still trying to go down this route of modifying what happened in the Metasploit module rather than just using Metasploit itself.
The pitch rising. Magic just
What was that song? No, where's my water? Needs necesito agua.
the pitch rising. Continuously rising pitch. Here, and I'm going to show you what this is.
Let's see. What's the song? Swim out past the breakers. Gonna watch the world die. What was that song?
That was probably what it was. One of the cool things you're
Santa Monica by Everclear. That's right. Swim out past the breakers and watch the world die. Yeah, it's gonna be like that, Linux. Look at Mr. Moneybags here, able to afford popcorn. Daddy Warbucks. Scrooge McDuck looking fool. Let's see.
You also, your brain...
So it also notes here that Metasploit fetches the CSRF at the same dashboard request that poisoned it. So it first gets the dashboard with the param and gets a response, and that's the exact CSRF to use in the new response. Then fires the trigger. So it's still seeing if it can re-implement it now that we haven't given it any guidance this time. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash AI away? Black hole sun. Damn, I loved that song when I was an angsty teenager. Freaking love that song.
You'll actually continue to hear... Your ear will just completely fill in all of the missing information, even though it's not there.
Did you see the new HTTP method query? I saw something about it. I didn't dig too deep into it. I'm in North Phoenix. I see no fireworks. Aw. Man, so I took... By the way, guys, there will be no stream tomorrow night. I apologize for that. I took the kids. I took Agent Zero and Honey Badger and Sock, obviously. We went to go watch some fireworks in Arlington, which is between Dallas and Fort Worth. And it was the most piddly, pathetic little show ever. Even Agent Zero was like, Daddy, this is lame. I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. But there is supposed to be a really amazing fireworks show tomorrow night because the city of Arlington is having their 150th anniversary. Shut up, baby. I know it. And then also they've combined the 4th of July fireworks show and the city's, I don't know, tricentennial. What I don't know. No, that's not it. Whatever, like 150 year anniversary is together, and they're supposed to have a really huge, amazing fireworks show tomorrow. So we're going to be at that. The kids were like so heartbroken and disappointed. So there will be no stream tomorrow night. I've got to make it up to the kids for that absolute horrendously pathetic display that got put on Friday night. I was so sad too. I was like, the kids were so disappointed. All right, so it's sitting here and it's tweaking the exploit code here.
There's also masking, and in masking you have
Sesquicentennial. Is that it, Monkey? Is that it at 150? Sesquicentennial? Trying to learn all these fancy words.
so you might as well delete that. And the weird
We have reached compaction. Oh, you know what I just realized? Kimi K27 is only a 262K model for context. So it's going to have to compact more regularly, more frequently. So Sesqui is 1.5 and Centennial being 100. Oh, okay. Neat. I do like knowing like where... We did that earlier, guy. We did DeepSeek V4 Pro earlier. I grabbed this one because when I searched for it on Grok, it said this one had similar capabilities to Opus 4.8. So I was like, okay, let's go try this one out. Yeah, that was the one we started the night off with, guy. Do I have Super Grok? No, I have... because I pay for the little blue check mark thing for the Blaise Bits account, I have like extra Grok, but no, I don't have Super Grok. Super Grok is expensive. Yeah, baby Grok. That's right. I don't have Super Grok. I have Chibi Grok. This is funny. Look at the timer here. 8 minutes. The timer's gotten jacked up because it said like 8 minutes 557 seconds a little bit ago. Took Greek in college and it helped with medical terminology. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would think taking Greek or Latin would help out a lot with that. Okay, let's get it to stop here for a second. Okay. Why don't you just try and use the exploit in Metasploit? Directly from Metasploit. Oh yeah, no, that was something different, Linux. Yeah, so the town that is between Dallas and Fort Worth, the biggest one between the two of them is Arlington, and Arlington is celebrating their 150-year anniversary. So we've got the 250 for America, the 150 for Arlington. So they're combining the two together. Correct, Bobby. This one, we took the walkthrough out. I moved everything that was from the previous run, and we put it into a dedicated folder for DeepSeek V4 Flash, and then this one is running in a blank Orion directory with no walkthrough. I wanted to see, like, okay, cool. If we fix the problem with Metasploit, and now we're going to see how well does it actually walk through interacting with Metasploit in here. So it looks like it's doing terminal, execute code, preparing. Session compressed 3 times. Accuracy may degrade. All right, let's go ahead and stop it there. Let's see. Let me look at like what it was doing here. So after the last message we sent, so he said, why don't you just try and use the exploit directly from Metasploit? And then what did it do here? So preparing terminal. For some reason, it's doing nmaps. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's doing netcats. Then it's doing Metasploit console. Why did you start a reverse listener? Never mind. Anyway, so it set the R host to, is that us? Oh, let's go check it out real quick. What do we want to do here? ifconfig hunt 0. So I don't know. Oh wait, that was the R host. Yeah, that should have been correct. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Let's see. R host, L host, 1010 15 22. That's correct. Local port 4444. Preparing terminal. Okay, so it's trying here. See that? It's still trying to use MSF console with attack QX, right? Okay. So why did you use MSF console? Non-interactive with the attack X option. Okay, I gotta, unfortunately, I'm gonna call this Kimmy one dead because just Dunzors. And the reason is because the context window is too small, it's losing its mind, and it's just hyper compacting. So we gotta pick a different model. This one is... So we already did DeepSeek v4 Flash. Mistral Large, let's see. What about GLM 5.2? What's the context on this one? What's up, dog? Cybersecurity's over? No. Cybersecurity is just changing. The way it always does. Every time there's something new, they're like, oh my god, this is going to kill security. Nope, it's just going to change it. I didn't really mention it, but I alluded to it on the latest YouTube video talking about the malware generation with AI agent work that my buddy Adam did, and then another guy named Otter did with Hevner. And the main thing about those is a lot of those things that they're doing can be pretty much stopped by doing like the basics of defense in depth and looking at other things. And it didn't completely kill the EDRs, right? Because a lot of that stuff is shipped up to cloud models, which you're not going to get access to. This was all based on like generating working malware implants and generating effectively stealthy ones on disk, right? The cloud models are a completely different thing. However, everybody's gonna be like, okay, cool, we'll just throw some more tokens at it and let the AI defend against it. Well, the problem is you have probably about 10,000 attackers to every defender, right? It's very, very asymmetric. So you can't just go start throwing infinite tokens at the problem because there's not infinite money. So the Kimmy K27 only had a 256K context window, so it was just crashing it out. Let's see. Current target IP in memory is that still valid? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna delete everything out of here. Yes, but let's treat this as a new attempt. Let me double check the IP address here. Oh, what was it? No, there's the IP. Let's see. New IP at... Oh, come on. There we go. Let's treat this as a new attempt. Assume the web server is up. Then proceed with working toward getting an initial access reverse shell. Actually, we'll just say shell. Let's see, AI did kill the economy, killed the last brain cells the business school idiots had, and therefore killed job openings. Dude, it is rough for job openings right now. Part of that is markets absolutely hate uncertainty, Pale. So AI has caused a whole slew of uncertainty. It has been the most uncertainty of uncertainties to kind of come up. Everybody thought, oh my God, Zoris, code. What did they freaking say when Claude Code came out? Oh, coding is solved. I'm like, really? The same company that can't handle its overload issues is saying coding is solved? Or the uptime for GitHub, coding is solved? I was like, no, we're still working this stuff out. On the same time, we're still very early innings in all of this. You have to think, right now, everything's about as bad as it's going to be. It's only going to get better from here. But at the same time, it gets better, and then the attackers get better. And there's still going to be the back and forth. Everybody's like, oh, well, the attacker's AI is going to get better. Then the defender's AI is going to get better. It's like, yeah, but there's not infinite money to run these things. Yeah, allow. Yeah, weird. Snake oil salesmen have to ask to trust them. It's definitely going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. And I don't mean that necessarily in a good way. You know, there's that old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. I have lived in very interesting times since the age of 17, and I'm currently 42. I would very much like to live in less interesting times. Yeah, very tired of interesting times. Exactly. I cannot count the number of once-in-a-lifetime events I've experienced in 42 years of life on both hands. Oh, yeah, no problem. Like, if I get time, I will go take a look at it. I'll have to go sign up for it and go take a look. Let me go grab, actually, hold on. What was that? Overlay. There we go. So I keep it up so I don't forget about it. Grab the free sub or the premium if you want. I can grant you it for free. Okay, I'll try to go take a look at it, man. I know. I'll just send Hermes after it. No, I won't do that. Let's see. All right, so it confirmed the CVE again. Need to pivot to actual RCE. FN stream gadget only supports 0 arc functions, so I need to... I need the 2-packet session poisoning chain. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. So no disable functions means system will work if we can get it to fire. FN stream gadget only calls 0 arc functions though, so let me grab a POC that achieves actual RCE. All right, let's see what it does here. Oh, hang on one sec. I'll leave the screen up so y'all can see what it's doing. I gotta run and grab something real quick. Be right back. Damn you all, I'm not pooping. I went to go get my sleepy pills. Because I got another long day tomorrow. All right, so it's still going through this problem of trying to work through everything here. Okay. Check Metasploit. So it still wants to do, and this is what I wanted to check actually. There's a Metasploit module for this exact CVE. Okay, cool. So why are you still doing this non-interactively? Why are you still running it with TACX? Okay, there we go. Hold on, look at it now. It is doing the polling, it's doing the processing, it's submitting, it's sleeping to let it give it time to run, it's polling it, it's submitting information. Okay. So it looks like it is using the proper pool options in here. Now, the one thing I don't like about this is you see how it's doing the submits? We don't see any information about what it's submitting. That's one thing I don't like about this. Why you do this? That's right. I mean, it's doing it the correct way. However, the correct way had an unintended consequence in that our direct visibility has disappeared in here. Now, if we went and dug into the session logs, we would probably see this information. Because right now, it's like we just have to kind of guess at what it's doing. Could we inspect these? I don't know. Hey, guy, can you go through and like expand out these tool calls at all to see what they're doing? I mean, typically, like in Claude Code, I think you hit Control O and it will expand the tool calls, and you can go through the scroll back to see what it's doing. You can turn on verbose. Okay. So Metasploit's having a Ruby constant resolution issue with the module. So let me read the module source directly and see how it handles the exploitation. That'll tell us the correct technique. Stop. Okay. Stop. Background process exited. What are you doing? Stop. Just stop everything. Stop it. You stop it. Okay. Show me a list of... Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Reconstruct the MSF console process session and write it to disk. I want to see... Yeah, let me just try that. Let's see what it does. Okay, saved it to MSF session log. Let's go look at that real quick. So use this exploit. The supplied module name is ambiguous, uninitialized constant HTTP. Use 0. So it tried to come up with this one right here. So what we had was exploit Linux HTTP craft CMS pre-auth RCE. That looked like it was correct though. Here, see that? So it's having trouble navigating the Metasploit console CLI. That's what's happening here. Yeah. Oh my God, Zor, stop! What are you doing, step processor? Okay, so it looks like what happened here is it tried to use this one right here. Let me go, I'll tell you what, let me go pull up Metasploit real fast. Let's do this. MSF console. Let me see what's happening here. I'm going to copy this command right here. Supplied module name is ambiguous. Okay, so that was correct when it's coming back here, even though that looked like it was the correct one. But let me search for this. Let me see how this is coming back, because they maybe changed the console. PHP in-memory Unix Linux command shell. Okay, use 0. All right, fine. Use 1. Use 2. What the hell is different here? Craft CMS pre-auth. What the heck is going on here? Let me search for this. Hold on, let me get more information here. So we tried to use it. It says supplied module name is uninitialized constant HTTP. Is this just Ruby being a chode? Yeah, I tried to use 0 here. It didn't come back. Oh, okay. So this is a Ruby 3.3 Metasploit module loading bug common in Kali 2016. Run reload all. So let's try reloading these, and then we'll have it try it again. So it was on the correct path here. It looks like Metasploit was just being a jerk. Let's see. So this error typically occurs when trying to load an HTTP module or extension in Metasploit while running Ruby 3.3 or newer. Issue stems from conflicting require statements in the cookie jar library. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just looking up. I had Grok go run through real quick. Okay, hold on. So if I try this again. All right, there it goes. All right. Let's go back over to Hermes real quick. Let's see. Let me see. Let me come back over here. Okay. There was a bug in Metasploit. Try again. It needed the reload all command. Run. Actually, I'm not gonna tell that. There was a bug in Metasploit. Try again now. Try again. A now. There we go. Yeah, that's what I... Oh, Ruby. I want to like Ruby, but Ruby has... I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know Ruby on Rails. I was like, but Ruby on Rails, I'm surprised it has survived as long as it has. Because maybe I don't know how much of Ruby it's really using. But, dude. Okay, hold on. Run the reload all command in MSF console first. She really misplaced lady is Ruby. Yeah. Who put their hands in the cookie jar? Hermes put their hands in the cookie jar. Damn, Monkey. I hadn't thought about that song in forever. Dude, I probably hadn't thought about that song in like let me think. How old am I now? Must have been like 30 years. Damn. Reloaded. Now let me try the module again. Okay. Ruminating. Cognitating. Module loaded. Okay. So this would have been one of those things where, like, it should have surfaced to us. It's like, hey, especially, like, we could tell, like, if you're confident this command was correct, you should have surfaced that to the operator to look at. Also, I do like that Hermes has a steer option in here. Hey, Potion, what's up, man? Happy 4th of July. Just go back for work and fireworks. Dude, Potion, I was just telling everybody, unfortunately, no stream tomorrow night because the fireworks I took the kids to go see last night were just horrible. It was such a letdown. So I'm going to take the kids to go see. There's supposed to be a really, really big fireworks display near where I live, basically, tomorrow night. So the kids were so disappointed in the fireworks. Like, Agent Zero even looked at me and he's like, Daddy, this is lame. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. So we're going to... Yeah, it was really bad. It was super tiny, and it was not what we expected, and we were too far away to really see it. So, but there's supposed to be a really, really nice show going on tomorrow night, and it's supposed to be like really, really big. It's going to be at the Rangers Stadium in Arlington. So we're going to get up there, get some good seats, and chill out with the kiddos and watch it. Are there any drone light shows happening where you are? Those are sick, and usually love referring to kids. I think, yes. I believe it's going to be a drone and fireworks show. Let me see. I love how you refer to your kid as Agent Zero. That's because he's my oldest. He's the first element in the children's array. The zero element. He's Agent Zero. Yeah, so it's going to be tomorrow night at 9:30 over in Arlington, which is not super, super far from my house. Fireworks and drone show on the east side of Choctaw Stadium, which I think Choctaw Stadium is actually the old Texas Ranger Stadium. Let's see, check failed, but we know it's vulnerable. Let's just force an exploit. That's what I like to do. I did like that it noticed that, hey, it set up the netcat listener before it tried to do this. I guess it didn't realize that Metasploit will do that. So it's like, okay, cool, we'll kill the netcat listener. We're going to try it again. Welcome back, Linux. Yeah, we had some neighbors setting off fireworks in the area not too long ago. Okay, so it's tinkering with the settings right now, but the cool thing is the memory that we set up for it on how to use Metasploit properly is all coming back in here. So before, shit, dropped my lighter. Before, what it was doing was failing epically, trying to do it non-interactive. And so this is working a lot better. Have I tried Penelope for a shell listener? I have not. I think you told me about that one, Ford. Let me see. Penelope shell catcher. Yeah, I believe this is the one here. Actually, no, I have not tried this one. There was another one someone had recommended. Maybe this was the one. Shell handler for penetration test and CTF players provides capable alternative to netcat listeners. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, the multi-handler in Metasploit works really well. I wouldn't mind trying this out. But no, I have not tested it yet. Penny's an awesome lady. All the thing I can think of is, hey, lady with a red hat. Yes, from Anchorman. All right. I'm glad that this is working. However, this bugs me so much. We got an interpreter session. Sweet. But I want to be able to see what it's doing in here. So we'll ask it to go do a reconstruction of this one again, now that it's working. And then once that's done, let's see. We got an interpreter session as Trip Dubs data on Orion, so let's interact with it. Let's see. Hold there for a second, but keep the process open. Okay. All right, so MSF process stays open with the interpreter session live. Okay, cool. So summary is we got here. All right, I need it to reconstruct this recent so I can inspect. So we can inspect it.
I'm back, baby.
Professor Dumas, what's up, dude? Happy Saturday. Why not give the AI an Exegol container and have it import custom tools like Penny? That's not a bad idea, 57. I do like the Exegol container, actually. Let's see. Full reconstructed MSF session logs. Yeah. So let's go look at what it did here. This should reload automatically. Yeah, oh, here we go. Reload. All right, cool. So it comes in, tries to use it, check the version, did the reload all. Cool. And then after it did this, it was able to, let's see, no payload configured. So it goes through, sets the L host as ton 0, sets the target type as shell reverse TCP. That didn't work. So then it went to PHP in memory after it did this. Exploit failed for runtime. Fetch handler failed to start on 8080. Address already in use. Let's see. So then it changed it. It hit 444, but then it should say like 444 was already in use. No, it did bind to it. Okay, so because it had to kill the netcat listener in here while it was doing this. Let's see. So then, okay, there we go. So now it started a TCP reverse listener on 9001. Let's see. Exploit triggered. No session created. So then it went through and set the target URI. Let's see, our host, so it used the vhost in here. That's fine. Session created. Okay, cool. So now actually we're just going to ask it to kind of do like a self-reflection. Great. So what was the challenge you had to overcome to get the session to work? Basically what we're doing is we're looking to see like, is there any problem that it encountered here that we could basically we could cut off with a memory. We had the Ruby constant bug. Okay. Reload all did a force clean on that. Okay. Payload target port mismatch. So target 1, which was the command shell, needed an HTTP fetch handler on port 8080, which was already in use by Hetty. Switched over to reverse bash, was incompatible with the target. Okay, so hold on. Wouldn't the fetch handler have been able to set its own port? Like, that's the default port. The fix was switching to PHP in memory.
Sound off like you got a pair.
You're so full of crap, Potion. Need more extensive redeems. I'm sitting on 150k floppies here. Well, I mean, you don't got to brag about how big your floppy is there, monkey. Send me the floppies. Let's see. All right, so the auto check and hostname resolution, the module's built-in check couldn't retrieve the CSRF in session, so it aborted. Setting auto check false plus force exploit true bypassed that. Deeper takeaway: the reason our manual exploit in the previous session kept failing was that the session poisoning technique. We were injecting PHP system ID via the query parameter. That's right. It should have echoed 23. You're right, monkey. It should have. So, but the value wasn't written into the session file. So the Metasploit approach is different. It passes the params and then a die function value of a random get parameter, which Craft serializes into the session. So when PHP Manager does the required, okay.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I love that one. That one's one of my favorite. All right, so let's look here. So as far as the MSF console interactions,
What, your mom buy you a pewter for Christmas?
1 year she did, because my mommy loves me. What information should we remember for interacting? Let's see. What information should be remembered for interacting with MSF console in the future? Console. So what we're trying to do is get it to think and reflect and upgrade its memory so it can become better the next time we do this. And mostly this is an exploratory process. Eventually I'll take these kind of like learnings in here. So key lessons here. Something like uninitialized constant HTTP, run, reload all. Auto check failures, you could set it to that. Port conflicts, check the existing listeners before choosing the local port or fetch server port. Good. Our host with a hostname resolves all IPs, clean slate entries. All right. Let's see. Treating suspicious Olama GLM stop response as truncated. That's weird. Response truncated, finishing length, model hit max output tokens. Really? That's weird. Let's see. Interaction method. For commands, and it was saved correctly. Okay. So the PTY interaction technique for the CLI tools worked. Orion target plus context. Okay. Memory's at 68%. So all three entries are compact and focused on reusable lessons that we'll save next time. Okay. So the memory has a particular capacity to it, 2,200 characters. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're just tinkering around with this. We're hacking around and finding out to see what Hermes is doing and then comparing it to like what it should be doing. Okay. Okay, so now with the meter breeder session, let's see. Explore to see if you can get a root shell. It'd be really funny if it like pulls up Dirty Cow or something. One of the things we'll definitely need to do here is improve its searching capabilities, because a lot of times when it's trying to pull web pages, it's trying to do them very naively. So we'll want to have something in here. Let's see. I'll just let it run. We'll see what it does. Let's go see what this. That's a good question, because I know something about it. Hang on one second. I gotta drop into OPSEC mode. I gotta need to go do something real fast. Hang on. All right, there we go. Bro's reading the CIA internal communications right now. Nah. Okay, so user admin exists, standard SUIDs only, no custom cron tab. We have DB root creds, so let me check MySQL for the creds and explore further. Okay, cool. Let me give it a steering note here. Don't attempt to crack hashes that are captured. Pass them to me. So what I did is I sent it a steering query saying, basically, don't try to crack hashes. Best scraper I found for language models is Catch. What is Catch? Hold on, so I don't go like just stumbling around trying to find it. Link me, monkey. Let me take a look at it. Okay. Won't crack hashes. Here's what I found. Nothing exploitable there. Let me go ahead and tell it to stop for a second. Hold there. Oh, seven's a salute, sir. Catch. Okay, hang on. Let me go look at Catch real quick. That's one of my favorite things about doing the live streams is y'all bring so many awesome things that I've never seen. The world's a really big place, right? And you're like, oh, bro, yeah, you're having that challenge? Check this out. Stateless CLI for web searching, code searching, and library docs and scraping. So most searching tools for agents means wiring up several provider SDKs, each with their own auth and response shape. Catch collapses that into one binary with 3 research surfaces. So we can do web searches for Brave, DuckDuckGo, SeerXNG, and Exa. We can do code, which is grep open source software across public repos. Grep, SourceGraph, GitHub code search. Okay. Now, do we need to go... If it's doing GitHub code search, don't we need to configure API keys for that? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'll tell you what, actually, you know what, Monkey, I have Harvey doing is I have a very, very basic, like $20 in the Grok API. And when I need Harvey to go search for something, I'll actually tell him, I say, hey, go have Grok do the web search for this because Grok is very good at searching the internet very fast. And so Grok kind of becomes the default search engine for Harvey whenever I need him to go find something for me. Yeah, because I've had to deal like with certain functions with GitHub and through the API that are like really low tier things. And just to be able to go read code, like you have to have at least some kind of an API key. Cloudflare bypass for scraping? Oh no. What do we have here? Let's see. Supports cookie generation, request mirroring, and HTTP method. Okay, hold on. Let's see what their video here says. This is a Fed tool though. All this in white mode? Come on, man. Only Feds use light mode. Is this literally just running in a loop here? That's the lamest. The little red worm under this. I gotta be real with you, Potion. This is a hella sus GitHub thing. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But then they're like, here's all of our sponsors. Let's see. Point your scraper at it. Let it run. How it works. So 2 ways, both powered by real stealth browser, A patched Chromium via Cloak browser. Oh, cool. Gotta get that money. Oh, dude, it's 100% vibe coded. I mean. Oh, wait, I thought I saw something in here. Oh, a random sock has appeared. Hang on one second. Thanks, man. Look. Oh, sock brought me tea. I do need to make a sock redeem. It probably should be like a warning siren or something. I'd probably just make it a chat command. Exclamation point sock. Let's see. So I take that back. I thought like this might be... I thought I saw Claude code in here, but I think actually this was on this one up here. Yeah, see, like, we see Claude happening in here. But heck, even if it is vibe coded, the whole thing is, does it work? Hey, Rab, what's up, man? How's our composure this evening? Much more stable than it was Wednesday night. Wednesday night was just, my brain had checked out so hard. Let's see, check out Obscura. Okay, hang on. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I need to go tell Hermes something real quick. Let me get back over to that. Okay. So it came back and said, let me get back into here. Okay, so it captured this real quick. Let me go pull up the write-up. Now, where is it? Damn it. There we go. Let me pull up the write-up. What was the... what was it? It was... Crap. Okay, so yeah, it's admin at... No, never mind. Actually, hold on. Let me just search for Bcrypt. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it that, by the way, this decoded to the password Dark Angel. Copy. Okay. Let's see. The hash for admin did crack to the password Dark Angel. And then we'll let it go from there. Basically, I just didn't want it going trying to do like a random loop in there. Oh, it's Adam, not admin? Ah, yeah, I can read. I reads gooders. So it used the terminal process to SSH over Intuit, running SSH pass. It's now checking the sudo properties. It got the user flag. Nice. Is this one of Two Bob's? Dude, I love Two Bob's music. I'm so glad he popped into chat that day. He's like, hey, check out my GitHub repo with like 10,000 songs in it. My eyes, the goggles do nothing. I know exactly which episode. I know exactly which episode you're talking about there, Monkey. All right, why don't we give Hermes a name? I have one picked out for the actual Hackbot replacement. Also, 44, I just noticed you popped in, dude. What's up, man? So, yeah, I've got one already picked out. Herpes. No, not herpes. No. Although the goal is to go infect everything. I mean, it kind of thematically fits. Let's see. Permit root login, yes. So try to SSH as root with the DB password and admin's password. Okay. Okay, so it's trying to figure out how to go get the root connection right now. Let's see, how did they do the root escalation? We noticed Telnet is listening locally. Check the version. Let's see. Oh, so Telnet is listening locally, and it had a vulnerable CVE to it. Yeah, so you could pass it user TACF root to Telnet, and it would root you in there. Okay. We'll let it keep running through this thing. Hold on, let me go look at this thing you just sent. Where is it? Here we go. So what is Obscura? Obscura is a headless browser engine written in Rust, built for web scraping and AI agent automation. Runs a real Java V8 support. Supports Chrome DevTools protocol and acts as a drop-in replacement for headless Chrome with Puppeteer and Playwright. Ooh, nice. I do want to star that one, actually. Let's star that one. Sponsors. All these proxies. That's who's sponsoring it. All right, so we could run that in Docker as well. Build from source, quick start, Obscura, fetch. So it looks like this is a CLI that you could also run as CDP, scrape in parallel. Okay, cool. Do it with Puppeteer and Playwright. Okay, so for Playwright, you even just point it over to like where it's going. Cool. Stealth mode. Anti-fingerprinting, so per session fingerprint randomizes. Realistic navigator user agent string. Tracker blocking. Nice. Nice. That's pretty cool. I'll have to go check into that one. All right. What's I want to do here? It wants to go use PwnKit on it. Okay, sure. Go use PwnKit. Go try it. PwnKit's a really, really old exploit. What did it say? Like, yeah, CVE 2021? Hey, that's the same one that Ethiopian scrub hacker was trying to use. Let's see. Oh, okay, so it's still processing. It's running right now. Let me use the MSF session to run PwnKit exploit directly on the target. Do it. Do it. And then once this is done, we'll have it go dump out all of the things it did. The one thing I'm glad this approach is functional for the agent. I don't like how little insight I've got to like what's happening here. Whenever it submits anything to the process or whenever it polls the process, it's very opaque right now. One of my old threat actor friends wants to get back into it to say how he should be a red. How should I see about redirecting him? Unfortunately, the only thing I can say, Potion, is get him to come into the Discord and let me talk to him. And it's a hard thing to do too, because if you know how to do those things, the allure of the money is really high. But also, let me go point you over to that 19-year-old kid from Scattered Spider who just got BTFO'd by the feds and Interpol. Right? I get asked that sometimes when I go on site. I had a client ask me, he's like, hey, dude, with everything that you know, like, what's just stopping you from going on this, like, massive crime spree? It's like, well, for one, I hate thieves. And for two, I've got this nasty freedom addiction that I want to keep feeding. You know, don't go to federal pound in the ass prison. Pi has a quick export function that you can literally see every token. I need to go take a look at Pi. Oh, that's rough, Potion. Let's see. This approach didn't, let's see. Printed help instead of crashing. Okay. So it's still looking to do. It's still trying to figure out what the privesc here is. It's trying to load up linpiece. Okay. I wonder what it's going to come up with linpiece, because actually, truth be told, I've never really used linpiece very much. I never really needed it. Oh, dude. That's just all layers of bad, man. Okay, so it ran linpiece, but the data came back weird, so it's going to save it to a file and then download it. That's actually a pretty good pattern. It's one that I'm working on with an agent for my day job, that I need to be able to capture a huge amount of data. So as part of the data processing pipeline, rather than pipe it right back into the agent, it's going to be serving it up as a file, as a URL, a signed URL that the agent can then download and then parse through all the data on disk. Because it's a huge amount of data. It would easily crash the context window. Ooh. Yeah, that's unfortunately the only thing I can say, Potion, is like, just let me chat with them. All right, I want to see what it gets here with linpiece, because the issue here is it's got a local. So the issue it needs to identify is that there's telnet running only exposed locally that has the exploit on it. I would hold that thought, Potion, for now. Let's see. Let me check something real quick. What do we have coming up this week? Dude, we're already in July, man. I was just trying to see if I had any. What time's that at? Ugh. I was trying to see like if I had any extra time this week to do like a makeup stream for missing tomorrow night. So now it's going to try the Metasploit exploit suggester in there. Let's see. User local bin composer is writable, and the only writable file outside temp. Let me check if it's a SUID binary. That would be cool. If it's a SUID binary and it's writable, then that's GG's right there. Let's see. inet utils inetd is running as root, and inetdconf was in the earlier file listing. Okay. A makeup stream? We don't care how you do your makeup. Ken, I'm resisting the urge right now to do a Buffalo Bill reference. It's like, just instead of like lipstick, I've got like a little USB stick. Ooh. Except now I can't think of that without thinking about Jay and Silent Bob doing that. Start smoking the USB stick. That's right. Dude, there were some USB sticks that these guys, what they did is they put a bunch of capacitors in it, because you have obviously power to the USB stick. And the capacitors would charge up and then discharge and just fry the motherboard. I'm like, well, that's brutal. Oh, wait, hold on. Telnet is running 23 as inetd as root. So using that, we got a telnet response. Telnet D is a symlink. Can't modify the symlink or inetd. Telnet works and asks for login. The DB password didn't work for root, but let me try the admin password. Also Dark Angel for root. So it's at least found Telnet. It's sitting here and it's trying to get it. Yeah, those USB killers. Those were really funny. It's like, can you imagine like if you were sprinkling like USB sticks in a parking lot and like every fifth one you just dropped in a USB killer? And then, like, the security team gets it, and they're, like, doing triage on it, and then there's just BAM! Hermes doesn't break Anthropic's TOS for subscriptions. Oh, it totally does. But I'm using Olama's Pro Cloud for this one, Rabbit. So login failed after passwords. Let me check if there's a way to use Meterpreter's TripDev data to interact with Telnet differently. Let's see. So we can write to varlib MySQL, no existing UDF functions. MSF has a precompiled UDF shared object. So now it's trying to see if it can exploit the MySQL database. All right, not a bad path. I'll let it run for a few more minutes before we wrap up the stream because we did start a little bit late today. So MariahDB can't find the shared object, only looks for plugins in MySQL plugin, but that's read-only. Let me try copying it there via the symlink trick, or check back for the changes in the directory. It's read-only, it can't be changed. Okay. Let me see. Did you investigate? Actually, let me just tell it. Hold there. Let's just tell it to chill there for a second. Are we getting back into Hackbot? Kind of. We're still exploring the Hermes agent harness, right? No? Because what I'm thinking is use Hermes as the base agent and then essentially build Hackbot as a plugin to Hermes. Now that has its own set of issues that could happen there because Hermes could evolve and break the plugin setup if we do it that way. But also, there was a message on the Hermes Discord earlier, yesterday, I think. Maybe it was earlier today, where they said they want to improve the robustness of the plugin system. So, that might be something there. Okay. Let's see. Did you say Telnet? It's running, but only listening locally. So port 23 is only bound to 127, served by inetd via telnetd. We can reach it, but the box has Atom or TripDub's data, but not from the outside. So tried logging in as root, but both Dark Angel and super secure craft 123 password exclamation point both fail. Okay. Did you? Let's see. Let's just tell it investigate the telnet process because it's used for remote administration and it makes no sense for it to be only exposed locally. Let's see if we can kind of just steer it a teeny weeny bit. Are you going to use that link you saved last stream, the one with the CTF write-up corpus? Oh, oh crap. I don't think I captured that one. No. Oh wait, that wasn't a CTF write-up corpus. No. That was like a whole bunch of like O days and N days that somebody dropped. The 6-7 thing. I tried to do the little 6-7 GIF thing. It didn't work for me. I like the idea of developing Hackbot as a plugin, So that's something that could potentially drop into a supported agent harness. Yeah, I do too. I like that idea because it lets us focus on how do we work with the agent to evolve and not worry about the harness engineering. So kind of the main thing we're looking to right now is how much can we work with the Hermes agent, and is it going to be supported enough? Wait, so you do it twice? What are the impressions so far? So far, I like it. Now, Guy's got his own system called Pistis. Is that how you say it? Guy, am I saying it correctly? That's also one we should go check out, just tinker with. Hang on, what did it just send? It sent a message here. So we have tripped up data shell plus admin SSH. We can set up a port forward with SOCAT to expose telnet externally, then brute force or try different passwords. 2 writable files in Etsy system D. The pseudo service is exposed? Interesting. So is Pistis meant to be like an overlay to Hermes, Guy? It's an enhanced version of it? Okay, cool. Neat. Yeah, that's the one. It's got the not the Ouroboros, but yeah, it's got like the snakes, kind of like the medical logo. I forget what that's called. Okay, Potion. I tried the 6 thing, and all I've got is like a bunch of people making out. No, I didn't. I typed S/I/X. And then I did it twice in there. And it's like it's just a bunch of people making out. I'm like, what the hell is this? Yeah, that's exactly what I typed in. And then I see like a little chibi anime character like dancing. That's all I'm coming up with. I don't know what version I got, man. All right. Let's see. All right, let me steer it here. Check the Telnet version. So I sent it a steering query to check the Telnet version because this Telnet version should be vulnerable, and that's why it can have you can pass that crafted string to basically force log in as root. So we go check out the write-up here. Yeah, so what you do is... So pass to the user variable here, and then telling telnet who you're going to connect as. That's how it did it. So the version output said 2.7, but the package version is 2.2. So hold on, how did he identify it in here? Let me see. Yeah, he identified 2.7. From a quick Google search, we can see that version of Telnet is vulnerable to a 2026 CVE, simple remote authentication bug, with a environment variable here. Okay, steer. Let's hold there. Let's get it to stop. Let's see if we can just tweak it, go in there a little bit. Why don't I use the web dashboard? Because the CLI is cool. Hackers use the CLI. I probably could. I've got it loaded up. I closed it whenever I was like trying to figure out why the memory was being used before I realized I'm a tard and the memory was being used for caching, which it's supposed to. Hang on, I'm gonna let it chill out here for a second, and because it saw the right thing. Okay. Did you check Telnet D? I think it was Telnet D27. For any, let's see. Any known exploits. There we go. So now it's got an idea. It's following the exploit path here. Let's see. I found this old comb. But just keep it. Keep my beard looking nice and fluffy. Oh, you know what? I did hear that Kali has an MCP server now. But I didn't look at that. Oh, he did the honeypot? Because he didn't answer the question right. Hey, there we go. It got the root shell. Boom. Okay. Okay, reflection time. Examine what you did, and actually, doesn't it have like a reflection command in here? Hang on. I thought it did. Is it /learn? Learn a reusable skill from anything you describe. No, that's not the one I was thinking of. Let's see, learning commands for Hermes. Yeah, because learn would be an interesting one. I don't know, maybe it is learn. Maybe I'm just dismissing it. Okay. Let's see. What if I just fire that? Will it do it? User wants you to learn reusable skills from the request below. But I don't necessarily want it to make new skills. What I want it to do is... hold on. Let's have it stop there. Interrupt. What I wanted to do is just here, review the session and reflect on the issues we'll prompt it directly. If it's got tools like learn it wants to run, then it will it should run it by itself. All right, review the current session, reflect on the issues you encountered and how to handle them more effectively in the future. Okay, there we go. Let's see what it said here. Oh, yeah, one sec. Let me go find him real quick. There we go. So, I mean, the problem was, Potion, he didn't complete the CAPTCHA on the logging, on the intro. It literally says there's one, like, basically, you need to select this option to prove you're a human, more or less. And if you don't, it just drops you into the honeypot. All right, hold on. Let's read through this real quick, and then we got to wrap up the stream here. All right, let's see. False positives, manual exploitation attempts. Let's see. Pwn kit was a dead end. LinPs produced empty output. Biggest takeaway, 2 highest value actions, checking MSF and search exploit for existing exploits, were both delayed when they should have been the first thing I reached for. Both CVEs already had ready-made exploits. Okay. All right. Okay, let's make sure we learn from this mistake. Actually, hold on. Let's see. What about missing the odd telnet service that was only exposed locally? I misspelled locally. Whatever. The agents are actually surprisingly good when you make typos. Let's see. Here we go. So here's the biggest miss of the session and the honest breakdown. Well, good. I don't want you to lie to me. I want you to give me the honest breakdown. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So the telnet service was visible from my very first SS command output. It showed up when I ran that via the interpreter shell. I saw it, noted it, and didn't investigate it properly. So I tried 2 root passwords, both failed. What I should have done, the moment I saw a non-standard service on localhost, immediately asked, why does the web server box have telnet? Telnet service on Craft CMS is bizarre. Weirdness is a finding. Instead, I treated it as a curiosity, tried 2 passwords, and moved on. Checked the binary providence immediately, returning no path found, not installed. While the binary existed and reported 2.7, that's a giant red flag. All right, search exploit the version immediately, once I confirmed it. Good. Recognize the SOCAT port forward pattern. So the service is only on localhost. SOCAT's installed. Atom has shell access. The path to expose the exploit was straightforward. I should have set up the forward and run the exploit without hesitation. You didn't even need to run the forward. Well, actually, I think he did it so he could run that remotely. So root cause, I treated Telnet as just a login service rather than investigating why it existed, what version it was, and whether it was a custom install on a CTF box. Any service that doesn't belong in its intended path, I cataloged instead of perusing. Okay. That's a good memory. Anything else that was repeated failures? I can't spell. Failures. that you can learn from to avoid in the future. We've already got a Gija reverse engineering project this week, and I'm currently at 237 million tokens locally. Nice, dude. Doing it with Quinn 3.6. Dude, it'd be cool to see, like, I've heard really good things about running Gemma 4 locally if you've got the power for that. Well, fortunately, I won't be able to talk to him tonight, but I wanted to be able to touch base with him, Potion, so I can talk to him. Because, unfortunately, I've got stuff I got to take care of after the stream. I got to get up really early in the morning. So all three are in the meta lesson. Verify before executing and stop repeating what doesn't work. Okay, cool. So we've got some progress made now with Orion here. Let me go ahead and stop that box, save, hack the box, a few shekels there. So it was finally able to, let's see. Let me ask you one more question. How long did that take from the start of this session? Start of this session. Because I think it took it about 2 hours. Hour 14? Maybe. Roughly an hour. The in-map scan kicked off at 23:10 EDT. Our interpreter session landed at 23:31 EDT. 21 minutes. And the root flag came in at 6 minutes after midnight. Telnet enumeration happened. Privesk portion took about 35 minutes. Mostly dead ends. Okay, so it took it about 21 minutes for initial access. And then root flag came in. Okay, yeah. Well, it's went from 23. Actually, yeah, it was right at about an hour. 23:10 to 6 minutes after midnight. Okay, not bad. This was a very easy box, no. Nah, yeah. No, we're not throwing anything difficult at it just yet. We're gonna nurture our baby. We're gonna raise it. We're gonna encourage it. But not tonight. I gotta find out. Let's see. Is anybody over on InfoSec streams? Let's go look. Nobody, not even us. We are in stealth mode. Look at that. We are completely hidden. So let me go see who else is on right now. First off, who do we have right now? By the way, over on the Twitch side, if you have raid suggestions, feel free to shout them out. Hectic is on, but she's playing Arc Raiders again. And it kind of makes me jealous because Arc Raiders looks incredibly fun. I just know I don't have the time for it. Let's see. Dark Side Diaries is also on, but let's go see who else we got in Science and Tech right now. Sid's on. Dude, I'm banned from Midnight Sumo. I don't know what's up. Let me go search for them again real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Hang on. Yeah, I asked them, like, I popped into their chat. I was like, hey guys, I would like to be able to raid y'all after my stream is done. Yeah, we'll probably go right over to Sid. Let's see. Hang on, let me check something real quick. Yeah, look at this. Oh, it. Did it do it? Yeah. You're banned. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't do anything. And I love Midnight Sumo. I mean, the only thing I did, and I sent an unban request, and it literally listed like, hey, here was your message history. And the message history was, hey guys, I would like to be able to. I got in there and I messaged the moderators. I'm like, dudes, I would like to be able to come raid y'all after my stream is done. You've got a really great, fun stream. It's awesome. The moderators replied back saying, man, we don't see anything. We don't know what's up. And I was able to go in and talk in their chat. Then I go check it later out of curiosity. I think maybe because Monkey had mentioned it again or somebody. I go look at it and like, now I'm banned. Before I was just kind of like maybe banned. And then I was like mega banned. What the hell? This does not spark joy. Anyway. Yeah, let's go right over to Sid. Sid is doing fun stuff. We will go right over to him. Let's see. Yeah, I like seeing Sid's electronics work. I think sumo is fascinating. I wanted to do it. I don't know. But anyway, guys, unfortunately, that's where we got to wrap it up. I'm going to start off the stream here. Do me a favor, drop some Hack the Planets and Happy Hackers over in Sid's stream. Show him some love. He's doing fun electronics. I love his setup, too. Especially with the little nose on the camera. It's awesome. Remember, guys, no stream tomorrow night. I'm sorry, I will try to see if I can do some kind of a makeup stream this week. Don't hold your breath, but if I can pull it off, I will. But the kids really, really want to go see the fireworks, so I'm going to take them there tomorrow night. All of y'all have a fantastic week. Remember, Crushing It mode starts back on Monday, so spend your time with your friends and family tomorrow. Get prepped for that so we can do the full frontal Monty assault Monday. That's right. And happy 4th of July for everybody. Ty, sorry, man. We're just wrapping up now, brother. So, yeah, but do me a favor, guys. Y'all have a fantastic day tomorrow. And then get full Crushing It mode on Monday. And I'll catch y'all at least Wednesday night for the new stream. And I want y'all to remember one super important thing. I know I say this every time, but that's because it's true. I say it a lot. And that is, I love you. Peace.